Shabbat Shalom, and we're dealing with Shabbat HaGadol, and I want to share with you a modern day Shabbat HaGadol and a modern day concept of the leprosy, not the correct word actually, but tzaraat that we're dealing with in the Parsha. So, what is Shabbat HaGadol about? Shabbat HaGadol is because in the first time in Egypt, in the year 2448, the Jewish people were told to go ahead and take a lamb into their house and to tie it to the post of the bed. And when the Egyptians would ask, what's going on? And they would say, we're taking your God and we're going to slaughter him because God is bringing a 10th plague that's going to kill all the firstborns. And that created a civil war. And Makeh Mitzrayim bivchareim. God smote Egypt through their firstborns. There was a civil war. Because they said, hey, enough is enough. Every time Moses warned, it came true. And now he's saying we're going to die. We don't want this. Let them go. So the fact that the Egyptians fought the war for the Jews to let them go, and the firstborns of the Egyptians, that was the great miracle. Makeh Mitzrayim bivchareim. Okay, another point. So we have in this week's Torah portion, the leprosy. Last week we learned about the clothing and the body. Now we're learning about the houses. And over there the verse says, when you come into Israel, and you will have, what Rashi says, what do you mean you will have? It's supposed to be a punishment for Lashon Hara. So who says we're going to have? God says as a fact. So Rashi says, God tells us here that I am going to then bring leprosy so that you're going to have to break down the wall and you're going to find where the people who lived there before they ran away, the 7 nations, where they hid their money. So we have over here something interesting. When a Jew sees leprosy on the wall, what's the first thing he starts thinking? God is punishing me. And there's a whole process. You have to go 1 week, a second week, a third week, and then finally you break. And then you're first going to see, no, this wasn't a punishment. This was God rewarding us. He's giving us the hidden gold that we would have never found. Those 2 points. Now let's talk to 2024. So we're living in a times where we're asking ourselves, since October 7th, why God? Why? Why the suffering? Why the bloodshed? Why the horrific? We can never get this out of our mind. What happened on October 7th, the pictures, the knowledge, what was going on, the cruelty. And then the world ends up turning against us. Like, what's going on, God? Are you protecting us still? Do you still love us? And what does God do? God tells us, hey, 350 plus missiles, drones, they're hitting Israel. And not one. There is one girl that was injured, and not from ours. Don't get me wrong. Every single life is important. But I'm just saying, when you look about what the greater picture, what could have happened, and God showing us, no. This isn't a punishment. This isn't a plague. I'm showing you that I'm bringing it to an end. Mashiach is coming, and I got you covered. Iron Dome, fear of it was $4 billion that night cost to keep the Iron Dome going. I got your backs. And then Shabbat HaGadol. Syria is shooting down Iranian missiles because they have no desire to have Iran becoming a strong player. So Makeh Mitzrayim bivchareim. Arab countries are shooting down the Iranian that attacks on Israel. Now, the fact that we're, to be able to see light in the darkness and not just see the darkness, this in itself is something I want to share. But I want to take it to the next level. Our sages say that God chose to make Chizkiyahu the king Mashiach. Imagine, there wouldn't have been no Spanish Inquisition, there wouldn't have been no Holocaust, we would have had Mashiach, it would have all been done. Why did Chizkiyahu lose the right? Because when God performed a miracle, he did not sing praise. You see, important to God is that his children recognize that his love for them is practical and actual. Yeah, we all like to joke around about Tevye singing, oh God, can't you choose someone else every once in a while? It's good humor. But at the end of the day, we cannot overlook the miracles that God is showering upon us, those that we know and those that we don't know. And when God does such a miracle, 350 attacks, and we're sitting there wondering, oh my God, this is going to be a world war, God forbid, what's going on? It's never going to end. And God says, hey, it's time to sing, not to cry. People, Shabbat HaGadol. Shabbat Shalom.